Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys, and we wanted to thank our newest patrons.
Oh, we do. This is wonderful. We want to say a huge thank you to Biz, Robert, and Blindness to Sight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Couldn't do it without your support. So this is just a quick update because, everything that we've been covering for so long, it's all kind of coming to a head at this point in time. And here we see the IDF prevents Muslims from entering the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. This is like the main holy place other than, Mecca and the Kaaba. This is the mosque in Jerusalem, right next to the Wailing Wall, the Temple Mount. And here you see police and batons beating up people that are entering on the first night of Ramadan. And Ramadan is, again, that holy period for Muslims in which they abstain from food as well, and that's basically from dawn to dusk, as well as kind of have a more spiritual mindset. It's a big religious holiday for them.
I know it's huge, and regardless of what anyone else thinks, when you start tinkering with somebody's belief system like this, you're asking for a lot of trouble. You're really just asking for trouble. There is no other way around it, and they know it too. I mean, they know how horrible they are being as far as what they're doing. It couldn't be any more clear. And these are people that are going to a place to try to make themselves better, just try to be better people, and they're not allowed to.
Well, it's exactly what we've seen all along, the divide and conquer, and to always have people pitted against each other. You think about this biblically, and it goes back to the crossing of hands and the transference of power from one son to another. And for those that have studied the Bible, you know what I'm talking about. And yet we're all brothers, sisters. We gotta change the way we look at things. This power structure is all about that control through division. So until we just refuse to give in to the hatred, we're not going to ever get anywhere. And, that again is the bottom line. As you see, this looks pretty brutal. It's just craziness in this world. It really is craziness. But this is how the system truly works. And can you imagine if everybody at some point in time in the near future finds out that all your belief systems were just all constructed simply to keep us divided, and it was nothing needed any more simple than, the old Beatles song, all you need is love. Put love, compassion first and foremost, and everything else will kind of fall into place. It's pretty simple, but yet people get so dogmatic. And we have been looking at two separate groups of young couples that are in some ways, all American as apple pie that we were watching. And yet, they're very dedicated spiritually, but they don't even realize that in the statements that they give out, they are causing that proliferation of that big divide between us and them. When you make a statement, well, we're that's a Buddhist temple, or that's a Hindu temple, or whatever. We know there's only one true God, and we know that person, we know that being. That's so contentious, and that's at the root of so many of our problems. Is a misunderstanding of what spirituality really is. And, religions have been used to control the masses. They'll always be a tool of the dark side to control the masses. But spirituality is something that should be the center point of everybody's life, really, and view that spirituality in everything that you do. If we would all do that and put that first, striving to see the other in the self, then we could change it all so quick.
You know, today I ran across this little note that I think is like really appropriate and can help a lot of people separate the two when it comes to religion and spirituality. Religion worships God. Spirituality encourages oneness with God. Religion, God is outside of you. Spirituality, God is within you. Religion separates people who have different beliefs. Spirituality unites people regardless of their beliefs. Religion teaches people to be afraid of hell. Spirituality teaches people to create heaven on earth. And, you know, religion based on fear and restriction, and it is too. And spirituality is based on love and freedom. And there is more, and it goes on. And it's very, very true, where religion puts people in this box and it isolates them. And then they get pitted against one another if they don't believe exactly what something says in a certain book. And I mean, to be fair, most people who are in the religious aspect of things, they have not read through the entire Bible. They have not paid attention to, you know, all of the really serious stuff that is in there that is so divisive and is so harmful when it comes to humans being able to thrive. They just haven't. And they really take the nice things out of it. And that's nice. They should take the nice things out of it and put them to practice. But without understanding the whole picture, how can you really kind of get angry at someone who doesn't believe in that religion?
Absolutely. And I do think there's a lot of people out there that have well-meaning intentions. And, you know, my mother is one that would not read the Old Testament because she would say to me, I don't like that God.
Right.
I like Jesus as God. And I only read the New Testament, especially like the Gospel of John. You know, and that's probably the most Gnostic of them. Again, it's just not understanding the bigger story. And when we don't, then we are just ripe to be used by the forces of the system and used in a way that, again, pits us against ourselves. This is Biden's own words that he had issued, and this was the original, not the ones that we see now. And you could even tell just looking right away, this is not, the same one of 6 or so, I think 6 that there are. If there were no Israel, the United States would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region. This is, and I'll give you guys the links. That's true. And again, it's through the Red Shields, the UN, that it has been resurrected simply because it's going to be utilized as a tool to start WW3. And this is what we're watching. And you have thousands of protesters gathered Sunday near Sunset Boulevard and Highland Avenue to protest the war in Gaza ahead of the Oscars. And I don't know. I mean, we couldn't even tell you what anything that's up for the Oscars because we have such a distaste. It just seems like everything newer out there has just gotten so much more draconian. It really does. It seems like, it's just all kind of deteriorated so fast in so many ways. But it has been, a steady, very, very pointed deterioration. In order for Israel to fall, the U.S. and NATO must fall. They'll forever protect it as the military body in the Middle East. This is exactly what is the bigger picture. This is why Israel's doing everything it's doing right now. It's to goad the Islamic world into attacking it, because the Israeli leadership doesn't care about the Israeli citizens any more than our leadership cares about us, or the Russian leadership cares about them, although the Russian citizens do actually have shelters they can go into in case of nuclear war. Last time I checked, we don't. Not as a nation, that's for sure. So, it's just so obvious. Meanwhile, there's also a famine developing in Gaza. It really, really is turning into a famine, because every time supplies are being dropped, the supplies are being destroyed, or people that go to get the supplies are being shot at. It's absolutely, it's just fulfillment of the plan that they have shared. And when we hear people say, well, the Bible foretold all this, so it must be the creator of the universe. No, it's the ones that are carrying out all these plans. And it's not even really, really detailed when you look at it. Again, Matthew and Mark, the wars and rumors of wars. That's how generic can you be? How generic? How about this Nostradamus one? The time will be filthy, pestilent, and violent. Okay, well, that's generic. A terrible Muslim attack and invasion. Okay, well, that's getting a little more specific. Great disasters are made in April. Okay, you only got 1 or 12 there. And great persons will be ridiculed for them. Other ones, too. I mean, talking about detail, from the Orient, from the East, will come the African heart to make trouble to the Hadria or Adriatic Sea, and Romulus heirs accompanied by the Libyan fleet. Temples of Malta and nearby islands will be abandoned. There's several there that talk about when the great king of the East moves, and meaning China. They move with a massive army. Now, yes, that is also in the Bible. There's a verse that talks about a 200 million man army that could only be from one location.
It does. And, the other thing with the Bible that just really makes me pause is when you talk about Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and the Bible originating where it originated from, how can those names end up there? I mean, those are names that we use here in the United States. They're just not biblical to me.
Well, again, everything is in translations. Like, nobody called Jesus Jesus. Nobody ever called Jesus Jesus. Jesus, as a word, was never in print until 1400 and something. That's a long time later. This is, again, how people just don't understand. But they just know what they've been taught. So there's a lot of quatrains that talk about these times. And the other thing that we should be concerned with is they do talk about war. They talk about famine. And they talk about huge invasion of a united Islamic people that have a common enemy, and all of Islam comes together to fight this enemy. And at the same time, they do talk also about China getting into the mix with a massive army from the East, which probably will also include North Korea as well as Iran and other nations. With, Indonesia, Indonesia is one of the largest Muslim nations in the world. It might actually be the largest. So it's going to be a united front against really Israel, NATO, and the U.S. This is what they are creating in order to get rid of the current power structure. It's all there in details, too. And, so a united Islamic army with a massive army from the East. And then if we talk about Ali or Ali, Alois, Ermiler, and if I misspell it then or misspeak it, then bad on me, because there's always the word police, the Nazis, the grammar Nazis, yes, out there. We're gonna pick on the grammar when you got World War III starting. The other thing we should do is this: a great famine and plague through a false dust. Now that sounds a lot like what Ali saw too, when he saw that what did they do is they end up spreading some sort of agent that is like a dust, like a powder that comes down, that stops the advance of Russia and the Russian allies heading through Central Europe. So all this looks really now the details are starting to really get to be easier and easier to see, and it does really feel that they are hell-bent on starting this. And meanwhile, we have people that rescued other people who were trapped in a major house fire in New Jersey. The neighbors went in, risked their own lives in order to pull out the people that were trapped in a big house fire. This is where everybody's going to be kind of separated, because it's going to be pretty obvious, who is going to be trying to be the peacemakers and trying to help others and not be part of the chaos. In Haiti, there was a horrible tweet that's making the rounds. And there's, I don't know how to word this properly, but you put things in a can. That's the first part of it. And think about Hannibal. Remember Hannibal? Yeah, Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, there's that going on in Haiti as we speak, and there's video to prove it. It's just insane what we're seeing. I wish we only had to look at things like this, the beautiful first buds of spring.
Well, sometimes it is so hectic out there. You have to go out of your way to find something nice, find something pleasant, and just enjoy it and let your energy calm down, let it relax. Because if you're in the mainstream and you're trying to get by and you're working 9 to 5, I mean, you are being blasted with all kinds of frequencies, with all kinds of weird energies, and it's just so hard to get away. It is not easy to rest and relax, and sometimes you just have to go find a spot like these here kitties found, and you just have to be for a little while. Don't be a human doing, be a human being.
And the reason we say namaste, because again, that which is in me that is of the Creator recognizes the Creator in you. And what could be nicer than that?
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.